What's up YouTube? We're going back to the Goa-Trance series, and today I want to cover a little bit about drum rolls and fills and that kind of thing. So let's dive in and have a look. One thing that's quite a prominent aspect of Goa-Trance that I've picked up, particularly dealing with like the driving kick and bass line, is these kind of kick rolls and various kind of percussion fills and stuff like that. And I've kind of prepared a couple of examples here that I think outline quite a few sort of techniques that are quite often used in Goa-Trance tracks. So I want to kind of dive into these and show you guys a couple of the kind of kick rhythms and stuff like that, how I usually go about doing this type of thing, and a couple of tricks to kind of use that might make life a little bit easier or may inspire you to do these things in your tracks if you're looking for this type of sound. So kick rolls and all sorts of stuff are, quite prominent, I would say, in pretty much all electronic dance music genres, quite prominent in trance, techno, all sorts of stuff like that. So you're not limited to using these in Goa, but that being said is I have had quite a few questions for it, and I thought it would be a great little addition to the series. So what I've done is I've actually broken it into bars. I've got like 4 different kind of examples here. Well, actually a couple of examples in each one. But what I want to do is I kind of just want to start off with these kind of really basic sort of double up kicks and stuff like that, and a couple of sort of tricks that I like to use. So, not everyone works with their kick and bass in audio, and I don't always do it, but, often when I'm doing videos and stuff like that, I kind of want to save a lot of CPU resources and stuff like that. So I'll often bounce a lot of my processing down to audio, and it's a little bit easier once you start to get to like a finished sort of track when you want to sort of mix down and stuff like that, and you've got all your parts. I find it's a little bit easier to kind of piece it together once you've got these kind of chunks of audio. But anyway, I'm digressing. For example, with the kick rolls, I like to put these types of things onto a separate channel. And I find using a sampler channel is cool because when you're punching in the MIDI and stuff, I don't have it in this exact example, but we're going to get into that a little bit later. You have the ability to kind of get this velocity. You can create all sorts of curves and stuff like that. So it's a little bit easier than manipulating the actual audio when you're wanting to do these types of fills and stuff like that. But like I said, for the actual main kick and bass, having the audio to always just default to is very helpful. And you're certainly saving on CPU space there if you're going to do this kind of multiple channel thing. So anyway, I would say probably the most common kind of kick roll is just the sort of end of the bar double up. So I like to remove the bass when I'm doing these kind of kick double up kind of sections, although you don't always have to do that. Sometimes, what's a really helpful trick is, say for example, I'm actually going to remove what I've done here. And let's say, for example, we've got this going till the end of the bar like this. So naturally speaking, we've kind of created the kind of relationship between our kick and bass over, they're kind of synced nicely, and we've kind of got the phase working really nice and all sorts. So we don't necessarily want to, say, for example, layer another kick here and double that amplitude or do all sorts of weird things with the low end, which we might not be hearing in our monitors or something like that. So here, a nice trick that I like to use is this is just for example purposes, but to, when you double up these kind of kicks and stuff, I like to cut the bass with it as well. And that way you're kind of resetting that waveform every time the kick hits. So you've got that same relationship that you've kind of created your track, or at least the low end of your track, around. I hope that makes sense. Now that I'm kind of thinking about what I've just said, it might not make a lot of sense. Then say, for example, when I throw in my, fills MIDI track, you'll see here that the kick hits, and then the bass sort of thing that I've done starts, and it goes like that. So it's going to be the same every time which, you know, you may want, you may not want, but I find for this type of thing, it helps to not create too much energy before the end of the bar, because I feel like the beginning of the bar is where that energy should kind of like max out. And when you've got these kind of like overlaying rolls and bass lines, it tends to get a little bit messy. That being said, as I have actually heard it in Goa before, you know, when they kind of double up the kicks and don't pay too much attention to, you know, removing the bass and all sorts of that stuff like that. But I guess that would be, you know, your creative choice. One thing to note here is if you're doing this type of thing, it's handy to just put a bit of milliseconds of fade out on each sample, just so you don't get any clicks. I'm going to play you this bar and you can kind of get a reference to what this sounds like. Let me actually show you this MIDI file. It's just 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/6, 2 1/16s at the end like that. So super simple to start off with, but this is the kind of effect that we're going for. So those kind of like sort of fills where that momentum builds, I find are very helpful to kind of, you know, carry on with that kind of building momentum into a part which has, you know, more power than the part before it, you know, if you kind of want to keep building. But say, for example, you want to do something on the converse. Say, for example, you kind of want to break that momentum to create a kind of a break part or a kind of a breakdown in your track. Then I like to kind of do sort of offbeat kind of thing, where instead of accentuating like 1/8, 1/8, etc., etc., I like to throw it off a little bit by, you know, creating this kind of off rhythm velocity thing, so it kind of creates this gallop, something like this. And that kind of like slightly off rhythm helps to break the momentum before a kind of breakdown section. So here you can see I've actually dropped out the bass in this section here. And that's something that you hear also quite a lot in Goa-Trance is their breakdowns, the kind of kick will remain going on that regular 4/4 beat. And they'll kind of just remove the bass and then kind of build it up again there. And that helps to kind of not break down the kind of momentum all too much, because I find a lot of the time with Goa, you kind of want this never-ending build, but it helps to kind of break it down before building it up again to create even more of a kind of momentum effect. Yeah, I think I've explained this kind of part over here. So here, what I like to do is, you'll notice here when these rolling sections, you know, are moving from you know, pattern to pattern, I often don't end up removing the percussions in those sections just because it's going to still be going after that bar. So removing it and bringing it in it's kind of gives you a lot more of a start-stoppy effect, which is, I think, a lot more prominent in full-on and that kind of thing. But here, you know, when we are wanting to kind of break down the momentum a little bit, it can help to remove the percussion in that break, because again, it kind of like, you know, it slows things down a bit before the next kind of build up where you bring the percussion in or something like that. So yeah, let me play you this bar to get an example of what I'm talking about. So something that I've also noticed quite a bit is these kind of like rolling snare midis. That's quite common in Goa. And these are actually very, very easy to create. You know, let's say, for example, I've actually made this little MIDI clip a little bit too big. This is actually just a duplication of my snare channel. As you can see, the snare is already on a sampler track. And this is essentially just a duplication of the snare channel. The reason I do that is, I may want to apply slight reverb to the one or the other and, not have to worry too much about that, splitting them up later on down the line. And I often end up putting, for example, like a little bit of EQ onto the fill channel. But I'm going to get to that just now. What I'm going to do here is let me actually just remove everything that I've got. So here we've got a section which is kind of bare kick and bass. And then the percussion comes in with some synths. So it's a little bit too kind of drastic without something that leads into it. So a lot of the time, the Goa-Trance guys would use either like a 16th snare pattern that rises in velocity or has various kind of filters and stuff like that. But just to keep things simple, I'm just going to use velocity for this. And, a very easy way to create that rise is to just select all of these MIDIs that you've created and just hover over this node over here. And you get this kind of little triangular, not this one over here. And that allows you to create this, fade in. So this is a 16th. And then another really common one would just be to obviously double that up to a 32. So I'm actually just gonna Control Z everything that I did and go snap to 1/32. Create one, duplicate it all the way across, and do the same. So obviously, depending on how much energy you want to bring in, that would depend whether you go at like 16 or 32. You can actually create rhythms here as well. So let's say, for example, highlight every second one. Let's say, for example, highlight every third one in every second bar. So skip 2, skip 2, skip 2, skip 2. And then a new bar. Boom, skip 2, skip 2, skip 2, skip 2, skip 2. So before I actually edit this, I just want to show you quickly what it sounds like, just so we don't go too off the track here. So we could then like edit these nodes, from here. I think doing it with a 32, now that I think about it, might actually be a little bit too complex. But we can always, stretch it by, double pressing the number 1 on your keyboard, not the numpad one, but the one on the left-hand side, and you get this kind of like clock icon over your cursor, and that's basically your stretch. So then that allows you to stretch the MIDI clip that you've just created. So again, I guess that would be, up to taste. So that's a cool way of like bringing in a bar without creating too much of a kind of break motion, is to just use a kind of snare roll like that. Very simple, very easy to do. And then here, you can actually combine that with something like a kick roll. So what I've done here is I've created a similar example with the kick where it rises in the velocity there. And then does like a 1/3 kind of rhythm. So here, what I like to do is, you'll notice here that the first kick is still on the main kick channel, while these kick fills come in from the kind of second 1/16 note. And the reason I like to do that is because here, let's say, for example, we create a little bit of EQ on this sort of secondary kick channel to give it a bit of separation, and also to, remove a bit of the low end before it comes back in after the break. And I don't want to remove too much of that first boom of the kick roll. So let me check if, let me play it for you, and hopefully that'll make sense. So here again, what I've done here is it's just a 1/16 snares, and I haven't actually tweaked the velocity here, and this is the kind of overall effect. You can actually copy paste these MIDIs if you want, very simple. I'm going to play this, and then I'll play the entire bar. So then these last two are just basically variations of the different things that I've done here. This one, I'm actually going to make these notes a bit smaller just so it'll probably be easier to see on the screen. Again, the first kick is on the main kick channel, and then we've got these 1/16. I've actually skipped the first one there as well, and then done these kind of like double rolls at the end here. Feel free to copy that if you want. And then another variation of that here, where I've just kind of like rolled off this velocity at the end. Awesome. That's pretty much it for these examples that I've created today. I kind of wanted to keep things simple, more kind of inspirational than technical, but I hope there's a couple of kind of techniques and stuff in there that will help you guys achieve that kind of sound. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. If there's any kind of tricks and stuff that you guys use, also let me know in the comments. A big thanks to IDM Mag, proud supporters of the dance music scene and my channel. As always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. See you guys next time.